So today we're going to look at how we can find some ideas for your business, and we're going to use some tools such as Google Adwords to help you do that, to get some initial research. So the first thing we've got to do is go to adwords.google.com/keyword planner. And this is a free tool that you can use. It should ask you to log in. I've already logged in, so it takes me straight to the home page. You can use your Google account to log in and sign up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do some searches on the Google traffic, which will give us some feedback on what kind of things people are typing into Google. And that's a really good indicator for your business. If people are looking for this stuff, then it gives you some kind of indication that there's demand out there. But we're also interested in, are people buying this stuff? It's all very well looking for this stuff, but are people actually paying for a solution to the problem that they may have? So we can kind of use Google AdWords for that, because what Google AdWords does is tell us how much advertisers are bidding for those searches. Let me explain. So we're going to go here in Find New Keywords and Get Search Volume Data. And I'm going to start off with just a random search. So let's say my idea is something about cycling. You know, I love cycling. I particularly love cycling up hills, which is one of the biggest challenges, especially for new cyclists. They find it really hard cycling up hills. So people are looking for interesting information, hacks and tips and that kind of thing. So I'm going to type in here cycling hills. Don't worry about the other stuff at the moment. If you're targeting a specific location for your service or product, you can add that in here, but I'm not going to do that. Same with languages and so on, but I'm just keeping this real basic. I'm going to type cycling hills and then get ideas. And what's happening now is Google's going to return some data for me, tell me what's going on with the searches. So let me explain what we're looking for here. Ignore the chart at the top at the moment. What we're really looking for is the stuff at the bottom. And these are the Google keyword searches that people are typing in related to cycling hills. So what are we interested in? Well, there's the keyword searches here. That's the number of searches on average for that keyword every month. Competition tells us the competition for that search term as per the advertisers. So for example, here the advertising competition is quite low for all of these search terms. But if we go down a little bit, we see here best road bike wheels for climbing got high competition. And that's because it's directly related to a product. So the companies who are selling road bike wheels are bidding for ad space for that particular search term. So there's high competition for that. Suggested bid, this part here, this is interesting and probably one of the most valuable pieces of data. That basically tells us what advertisers are bidding. Now, if you remember in this step, we looked at the concept of not developing a market. So only go into a market that's already been developed. Don't try and develop your own market. It's very expensive, unless of course you're Richard Branson or Elon Musk or whoever. But for everybody else, go into a market where there's a proven demand. And a good way to find out if there's a proven demand is to use Google AdWords and find out if there are bids for that particular product. So what we can do is we can order the search terms according to suggested bids. So what I'm going to do here is just click it twice. First time, it's just once, sorry, my mistake. So if we click it once, it will order it by the highest bids first. So basically what this is telling us is, these products, these search terms at the top are the ones that advertisers are bidding most for, right? So that means that there's some kind of established demand. Over time, that will tell us there's some kind of established demand for that product or service. So if you can see here, MTB, mountain bike climbing training, that's pretty high. So obviously there's advertisers there who think people are going to pay money for that search. So people are ready to buy something, some product or service according to that problem that they have. Cycling, climbing, training program, again, very high. Best mountain bike for climbing, again, very high. But the problem is with these ones at the top here, the monthly search volume is very low. I try not to look at anything below 100. You know, if you can get it into the thousands, that's great. But anything below 100, you're really dealing with something with sporadic demand. So it's very difficult to build a product or service around that. So, you know, if we start to go down here, climbing technique, 2,400, it's got a reasonably high bid, but climbing technique is maybe a little bit vague on 2 points. Firstly, climbing could be, you know, mountain climbing. It might not be cycling, and probably most likely according to that search term. And it doesn't really show any kind of user intent. It's just a phrase. It doesn't say, you know, how to fix something, or it doesn't show that somebody wants to buy something. It's just a very vague term. So let's sort of scroll down here and see where we get climbing cyclist. Again, don't know what that is. That could be the name of a program. It could be the name of a book or anything. No sort of user intent. Hill climb racing online game. Never heard of it, but obviously it exists. Again, not related to us. Play hill climb racing online. Hill climb app. Starting to get a little bit. Best climbing road bike. There you go. That's really interesting. Suggested bid is not so high, but reasonable average monthly searches. This should be giving us some ideas. Now, the key here is when we're doing this search is that these aren't your answers. These are just guides. This is going to help shape your ideas that you're already working with, to help you understand what kind of angles can we apply to that idea to make it more commercially viable. So, best climbing road bike, very interesting. Road cycling technique tips, again, very low search terms. Let's see what else is in here. Well, best bike for hill climbing, again, that's coming up again. That's also interesting because it signals some kind of intent. You know, if somebody's looking for a product, then they're more likely to buy than anything else. They're not just typing in climbing, cycling, that kind of thing. They're typing a specific product they're looking for. So obviously they're educated about the product, which is a really good sign. So, you know, if you're into cycling hills, as we started out, some kind of ideas, maybe an angle here is to look at, you know, some kind of advice or a particular product specifically aimed for people who like cycling hills. So it could be, you know, a bike which is set out as a good climbing road bike. So it might be a light bike. It might have specific, you know, front fork suspension, or, you know, it might have a specific design of the bike, which is good for cycling, etc., etc. Whatever works, whatever people are searching for. But this is the message that you need to tailor for this kind of search. So let's have a look at some other search ideas here, just to show that we can use this for other ideas. I'm going to type in here energy drinks. And as you know, energy drinks is a well-established market. So to go in and compete against Red Bull or Monster, well, you know, you might as well forget it, because you don't have the kind of marketing budgets and, you know, the eyeballs that these guys have. So if you're really passionate about energy drinks for whatever reason, you know, what is the angle for you in this market? So let's have a search here. See what comes up from energy drinks. And again, we're going to get some very broad terms at the top. Energy drink at the top. Very broad, very high suggested bid. Be interesting to know what's going on there. But here's what gets interesting. Very high suggested bids. But here, energy drinks that are healthy. So, and you could add in here, healthy energizing drinks. So what that shows us is there's a small amount of search traffic for it. But if we were to go through this list and add up that search traffic, maybe it's different variations of healthy energy drinks. But people are searching for this term and the suggested bid is quite high. So that means there's advertisers already waiting for people with those searches. So it suggests there's products and there's a demand. So we've identified a pain point here, and that gets really interesting here when you have a look at this search term, which says, how are energy drinks good for you, or not, as the case may be. Health implications of energy drinks, crave energy drink research, problems with energy drinks, alternatives to energy drinks. So alcoholic energy drinks, well, I mean, if you're in that market, there's a huge demand for it. why energy drinks are good for you, good healthy energy drinks, healthy alternative energy drinks, the healthiest energy drink ingredients. Wow, a lot of people searching for that. There's a lot of suggested bids as well. So people are really interested in what's going into energy drinks, and they're interested in the health implications of energy drinks. And it seems like they're interested in healthy alternatives to energy drinks. So let's say you're going into energy drinks. There's a big market there for people interested in healthy energy drinks. And to cater for that market, people are really interested and curious for information about those energy drinks. They want to know what's inside them. They want to know what will happen if they take them. They also want to know, for example, what's wrong with existing energy drinks. They probably know there's something wrong with them already. They probably don't like drinking all that kind of caffeine, but they want the facts and they want information about that. So there's a bit of education to go on here. So that's a really interesting search term as well. That shows us some kind of angle for energy drinks, to offer healthy alternatives, and it shows there's a demand for it. So last point here is I want to just talk a little bit about the average monthly searches, which is right at the top of your search results. What it shows us is the last year of search volume for that particular term. And what we can see with energy drinks is it's pretty much stable and slightly increasing. It's gone up about 20% over a year. That's a good sign. What you don't want is the opposite. You don't want a product or search term that is going down, because even though it might be good now, the market is contracting. So if you're building a business around that, you really don't want to build a business around a contracting market, because it only ever gets harder from here on in. So let's talk about a very generic term, a very popular term as well with lots of different variations. Let's talk about aloe. So let's say you are interested in aloe because you're interested in the health benefits of aloe. You're interested in health, nutrition, and skincare. Aloe is a product that comes up a lot in that discussion. There's a lot of search terms for this product, but it's a very broad search term, aloe itself. So let's say you've got a very broad idea at this stage and you really want to narrow it down and find out what are people interested in about that idea or that product that you have. So if we were to start with aloe, and what we find here is already you can see that when people search for aloe, they're not just searching for aloe alone, they're searching for particularly the benefits of aloe and also how to use it. So you can see the uses of aloe vera plant here. Aloe vera juice, what does it do for you? Benefits, what can you use the gel for? Advantages, juice, skin benefits, and so on. And you scroll down here, you get quite specific searches, how to use it internally, which I guess is drinking it. I can't imagine how else it could be used internally. And medicinal aloe vera, what's inside it, where to find it, extract uses, and so on, how to take it. So let's say you were looking at aloe vera and you were interested in designing some kind of product around that. Well, one of the biggest areas people are interested in is how to actually use it. It seems like an interesting area. People are interested in the health benefits, but people want to know how to actually use it, because I guess there's many ways you can use aloe. You could take it as a medicine, you could drink it, you could apply it to your skin, put it in your hair, whatever. I'm sure there's hundreds of different ways you could use aloe, but people are really interested in how to use it and what are the particular health benefits of that product. That's what people are searching for, and that's what it seems from the suggested bid people are willing to pay money for. So there you go. That short time that we've just had looking through Google AdWords is really been about trying to filter some of your ideas. So in the last step, we looked at a whole bunch of different ideas and how you could ask those questions about it, whether or not that idea would work. And now we're going to Google AdWords and finding out whether or not there's a commercial demand for it. But it doesn't just stop there. What we're going to do now in the next step is we're going to look at other services, like, for example, Quora, and ask what specific questions people are asking about that search term or that particular service or product, because that will give us some real insights into what the particular pain points are with your ideal customer.